Already we can actually get to topic. It will be Fnatic style on the T side. CT side will be mousesports, and this is everything for Mouse. They need to recover, they need to start performing really in a way that we didn't quite see. The turn down of performance was pretty drastic not too long ago.
Well, Dennis already tagged up a bit there, going for an aggressive peek. I kind of like the idea though, especially because they have so many members towards the middle or B-bomb site here, Nico being one of them, and he must have heard a couple of people in middle just running around as Fnatic still trying to find a way to get in there. They've done some good damage already, but haven't really made much progress apart from that. And now, mousesports are much further away from Fnatic, means they're going to be able to use those USPs a bit more, at least.
And there is only 2 players on A for mousesports. They have the 2 in mid at the moment, as one did just start pulling away from that B side of things. But still Fnatic taking their time. Still 1 minute left. Still got the flash on Flusher. Don't really need to hurry things up here. Spitty is on site. Christian's pulled himself over, so at least he's there to support them at this point. Does get a glimpse there, Spitty, but here comes a flash. So completely facing that one for now, but he does manage to come out of it fairly well. Dennis, however, does slip through the net, and that's always a threat at this point. Spitty just trying to dance between the bullets, and while this happens, actually, it's Chris J to find the kills. Nico joins in, and suddenly it's not looking too bad, but there's a split coming out from JW. Stunning shot from Spitty, just plucks the head off his shoulders, but it's a 3v2, and the CT side's looking pretty weary.
Oh, and he's gone, Speedy. If he doesn't hit that shot, he's going to be gone anyway. Olaf picking up a double in. It's going to be the last kill for him as well. Making it a triple, and Fnatic, they salvage that round. But that's so scary. He's on that slope, and he's just going to be gone if he misses the shot. It almost works out. Even the bomb gets dropped on Catwalk, so maybe a little bit of a moment of panic for Fnatic when they don't quite know what's going on. But overall, it's quite good. I'm impressed that Speedy managed to dodge that flashbang. That was only in the air for like a couple of seconds, or even less than a second, so really good job there. Double scout buy-up for mousesports, though. I think that's interesting.
Chris J, I'm pretty used to seeing it, I guess, but Spitty as well joining in. We'll have to see if that actually pans up and plays out at all. He's already been tagged up by, I think that's Flusher, just down on the other side, so not exactly the best beginning. But Nico's going to try and take matters into his own hands. And to be fair, no one's actually watching this just yet. If timing works perfectly in his favour, he could get to a nice little spot here, but Fnatic are taking the presence on long.
It's one of those things where if he really gets behind them on long, he wished he'd had almost anything but a deagle, because it's going to be hard to kill even 2 people with the deagle here, but he's going to have almost the perfect timing. Oh no, Crims turning around and picking up Nico. That's going to be devastating.
mousesports, just... It's not fun to watch them when they get this sort of a little bit of timing bad luck added to everything they've just now gone through. Just Nico's going to be sat there like, really? This is great. What a way to start things off. But Dennis again, looking towards those B tunnels. No one else is actually really there at the moment. The bomb's not committed on long either, so they've kind of reset things here, Fnatic. Not just taking control on, they are testing the waters across the map. Already Olaf's found Dennis, so that's pretty much B open for the taking, and now we're just down to 2, and it's just the 2 scouts now.
But they really get nothing out of this round for the mousesports team. That's a bit disappointing. We got to get some credit to Fnatic as well. It's not like they went in and challenged middle or long. Those are like the 2 big mistakes people make against the scout, really. Yeah, just not much luck at all. Only the 3 kills coming in for mousesports so far, but Fnatic on the other hand, they're gonna be pleased with the situation.
I can imagine so. Scouts going out to play again. Flusher didn't really have to do much with that one before. He got a couple of tags in there and did pretty much well enough. But Bomb again looking towards B. Dennis is the one at the forefront here, and on the other side, Dennis. That's gonna be great to cast. Next, watching the push out, Crims again. Getting it open, Dennis going to follow, and it's pretty clean thus far. Getting a little bit of a tag towards Dennis, but not much more, and this is a whitewash all into the Swedes' favour. And there's just Spitty left alive.
Well, we're going to try and see if he could do a little bit of damage at least, but not even going to be possible. Dennis will pick him up, and it's going to be a double kill here for the Fnatic players. So, 4th round coming up, and they can't afford that AWP, not even a glass cannon. And in fact, Chris instead is going to go with the scout. Don't think that's necessarily a bad choice. It'll also allow him to get a lot more utility here.
And during the Pro League, I was looking at the stats, and especially on Dust 2 for Chris, and it was his 2nd most used gun under the AWP. So he had the AWP at first, excuse me, then the scout, and then everything else, including pistols and whatever else. Kill-wise, he actually does just go with it into gun rounds. Maybe not the best idea against Fnatic at the moment, but then again, it is still Flusher on the scout as well. So, you know, we'll see what he can do with it. It's only bad in theory if it doesn't work out. Now, Nico's going to walkabouts in long. Now, JW is actually going to turn that. Nico, lucky to get away unscathed. He's looking so aggressive in this. He's not backing down from this fight, and he does work in his favor somehow, but that is not how these exchanges are meant to go.
Everything about that was just really weird. Nico not recommitting after he sees the shots coming out of the corner, but then walking through the smoke, and then still winning. I don't even know what happened there. That's just really odd. But it works out, and mousesports, they definitely need it. I think, especially because they're playing Fnatic now and we're on Dust 2 and everything, they need like 8 rounds or something on this first half, I think. If they get up to 8 rounds, then I'm going to start to get really excited. If they get 6 or less, I'm not sure I'm quite buying it. This is... I mean, Fnatic have already shown that even when they're behind in a game, they've got some sort of trick to get back into it always.
Don't remind Henry. Anyway, it's down between Dennis and Nico to hold the split coming from Fnatic. And actually, Nex and Nico do deliver on their front. However, it's down to Nex on the side. He's got himself in a great spot, but it's still Olaf, and he still hits it on the way through the tunnels. But he's left in a 1v3. The bomb's nowhere near him. But then again, it is Olaf. It's hard to ride him out of any instance, but he shouldn't be able to even get the room to maneuver here.
Yeah, and they just need to think about saving what they have right now. Winning the round is great, but they need more than 2 people alive, essentially. If all of you just get 1 kill here, then Fnatic are in a pretty good position anyway. Grenade right in there, and it doesn't actually hit any well. It does hit Speedy a little bit, but that would have been devastating if it had been Nico to gone down. So, 3-1. They pick up the AW here on JW, and, well, Chris not going to switch out the scout, and probably no reason to either as well.
May as well just keep going with it. 3-1. Important pickup there from us. You could see them visibly trying to get themselves like back in the game. Just, you know, take this. That's a great start, guys. Not the first 3. We can recover now. But JW this time will be picking up the AWP. So instant again to beat, and just Fnatic picking up the pace. Look at this, just flooding through. Flusher gets to already, looking for his third. Chris J backs away, tail between his legs, and that molly could just about do enough. But it's actually Chris's nade to find Flusher in the end. But while that happens, bomb's gone down at B. And these 3 trying to pull off the retake is going to be incredibly hard.
Yeah, I was going to say, don't even do it. Oh, and they actually
is that the boost?
Yeah, they boosted on top of the wall. And JW going to be able to get that kill. Shot range through as well, the scaffolding, and it's going to be Speedy down to 11 health. But they should not even have gone for that retake, in my opinion. They must have realized just how quick that bomb plant went through as well. Nico actually going to beat a 1v1, and Olaf is on the other side. Nico, he could just straight defuse here. Olaf trying to charge in here. Going to be flashing his way through. Nico firing that AK. He's going to have to hunt him down. Olaf on the other side, and he hits the shot right through the door. Oh, man. I wonder if he had put up the... He had a Molotov as well, I think, Nico. I'm not sure he could have known, but if he had all the information that we had watching it, could he have turned around and actually got that defuse off? What a... That's actually mad. That should have never been that close.
How much can one man be asked to do time and time again for this team, though? It's every single time he comes down to these situations. He's bringing it close, but Fnatic just kicked it up a gear and just didn't care, pretty much. Dennis again, flooding through. There's a couple of deagles.
Speedy in the middle with the taser on the other side.
Actually could work out.
That worked in the previous match, and I could hear the pain in Semler's voice. He doesn't like the taser at all, whereas...
It's the little yelp you get with it that gets me a little bit.
It's so funny. I love it.
All right, Nico. Let's see what you can do here. So Crimson's found Speedy, so that's, I guess, that little bit of fun removed there. But still, I don't know. mousesports just seems so. I'm still finding it hard for even to consider how much they're gonna have to try and reset once they get into this game a little more, and once the economy does start falling into place. But at the moment, Fnatic still being relatively cautious. They did come off to a bit of a fast beginning into this one, but they have hit the brakes a little bit. And now, if mousesports can get a couple more, it'd be perfect. But Chris J's gonna be the one to try and do it.
Chris here. I mean, how do you possibly make it through Nex? That's actually a lot of damage being dished out. If Nex had got the kill, then he would have been able to pick up the AK, turned around, and maybe they could have sandwiched between Chris and Nex, and it would have been a thing. But Fnatic not going to fall to anything here. It will be 5-1, and again, this is just such a scary start here. Good shot from Nico. It could have been a second one as well. Both JW and Olaf very low. Not this time, though.
Not this time. It feels like that's a consistent story with anyone playing Fnatic. Just like, not this time, guys. Soon it'll happen, don't worry.
Olaf and JW top ranking. Olaf 10-0-1. I mean,
after 6 rounds.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
He's an unbelievable player, and JW's got a great spawn as well, which probably won't help things here.
Nico has as many kills as his entire team combined. The other 4 players on mousesports right now are doing about as much as Nico is alone. So that's a bit ridiculous on it, you know, just pointing this out. And again, mousesports with the super aggression here. They've got a guy spotting mid early on, so they know how many people cross. Well, they have a really good idea of it anyway, and JW with that frag, second one reigns in. And Nex is going to be gone, and JW wants more, and he's going to get it as well. Turns around with the AWP, but finally, Nico able to shut him down. That turns it into a 2v3.
Can Nico save the day every round? I'm not too sure. But it is down to Speedy and Nico. Nico has got himself a rifle, as did Speedy, but his gets pretty much ripped away from his hands instantly. The bomb is over by B, not yet to be planted. Now, Flusher's pretty low, but there's still a Wild Olaf on the loose. There's still Crims to join him. And I think Nico knows what's possibly coming his way. Nico's going to have the drop on him, so good work again from Nico. That's 2. Does have a kit, but nothing else. No armor. Limited utilities, just picked up a flash, so that gets put into place. He's just going to take the shot, but can't quite find the second. Crims was there and waiting.
No armor for Nico. I mean...
And he still does that much.
This kid is unreal, isn't he? I think you've got to expect that the sort of the performance interviews that are happening in mousesports are going to be really awkward, because they're going to be like, Nico, we know you're already working 80, 90 hours a week, but we're going to need to put in, 250. It's like, there's not even that many hours in a week. I can't
do it, guys.
The whole company can't just be on my shoulders, can it? But it can, apparently, and yeah, he's going to have to do even more than he already is.
Because his rifling, his deagling wasn't enough. It's going to be the AWP, but I pray for his sake he doesn't go wandering through those doors again, because I doubt he'll get away with it like he did before. 2 waiting there, and he's going to be instantly pressured, and he's going to use his teammate for bait almost, then use him as the body shield. And Speedy will actually claim both of them at least. So now controlling the threat at long.
Well, I think actually
up everything else.
Dennis it was the last shot in.
Yeah.
I think it was a team kill involved as well. That was very confusing, but they did also get grenaded early on, so maybe just a bit of confusion there on Fnatic, and a really good start to the round, finally, for the mousesports team here. Flusher, JW, and Crims. This is one of those rounds that Fnatic shouldn't be able to steal back, but yeah, they have some sort of uncanny ability to do it anyway. Flusher, if he makes the jump down CT spawn, then they're going to know that there isn't much of a crossfire there, and they can probably guess the other two are maybe in B.
But he only needs to land 1 shot towards A, and he does exactly that. So Nico, the man who's been doing a lot of the heavy lifting, is now removed. But Dennis is watching this, and he has been pretty aggressive so far. This time going to take a little bit more of a passive posture and wait to see what these guys can bring out. JW is going to wander into this, but will he even consider what's to the left? Flash comes in, and JW doesn't land the shot for once, which is a bit of a rarity unto itself, leaving just the 2 left for Fnatic, which is Crims and Flusher. Now, we already know that Flusher pretty much gifted himself the sight on towards A, but will he expect the player on long? They're already looking for his Speedy who's down there.
Well, it's better for them to wait and have the full 3v2 retake than it is for Speedy to take the fight now, and then, they end up in a 2v2. And this Fnatic going to try and make it a 2v2, and they come out on top as well. Crims turning around. He's got half health still. He's just got to make sure Speedy doesn't cross, and he already has actually straight onto the bomb site here. Grenade comes out once, and Speedy's up there waiting for Crims to take the second peek. He's going to go for it. Now he taps the bomb once. He's going to hold it in here. There's going to be a jump coming in, and Crims goes down. Not even allowed to jump. Great round from Speedy. Very well played. Double kill for him, but I also want to give some credit to Dennis. I mean, apart from the double kill, he actually... So when Flusher gets the kill on A, you have to appreciate that it's very, very hard for Dennis to stay in that position. They don't know if there are another 2 people coming up behind Flusher who's about to put the bomb down. But if Dennis leaves the B bomb site, you can see Fnatic were waiting for it. They were just scoped on the angle. They were actually thinking, so that would have probably killed the round for mousesports immediately. So just staying in that corner for Dennis is very, very difficult. But great call coming out, and wow, Chris shutting down Olaf. Scout versus AWP.
Of course, why wouldn't it work? It's CSGO right now, but JW's going to find a mid-air one. And, well, Christian did get the tag, but not going to find much more. I guess the Scout does need some downturns in its performance in comparison to the AWP. But still, double coming out for the T side of Fnatic, with Dennis on that and JW. CT side having to be relatively cautious now, losing that mid player, that mid man, which was Chris J, keeping eyes on it, losing a little bit of information there next. Might have to wait to see if that anyone comes through. And so far, not much out of Dennis. He's still at the top of mid here.
We're going to find out exactly how they can get back in this round here. mousesports, Fnatic right now are definitely in a good position. They've got the 4v4, they got the AWP. There's a great flashbang coming in, and next taking out one. Flusher still in the middle for a little bit, but he's going to end up falling back, and they're going to be allowed to walk a little bit into the B bomb site, but it's going to be quite enough.
The 2 AWPs aren't going to be exactly perfectly in unison in this one. The mollies are going to go down, the flashes are there, the bomb's going to cross over. Dennis could be putting that one down just in the corner. And now it's retake time again for the CT side. However, this time they at least have the man advantage. Fnatic going to have to go against the odds in this to hold on to it. But Nico, with that UMP, far from ideal as well. Challenging out Flusher, but Flusher just backing away a little bit. Not going to take the instant fight and keep his eyes on where the rest of mousesports are coming from. And it's flooding in, and the crossfire was just not set. And now it's JW in a 1v3 The defuse is coming in though. Spiddy's holding this down, and this is going to be the round. There we go. Nicely done in the end by mousesports on the retake. JW will survive that one pretty comfortably, but
there was a second when I was wondering if JW was going to try and like go up the window or something and shoot. I don't know. Luckily, that didn't happen. We've seen enough madness today already. In fact, he's top fragging here at 12 kills. But, good round for mousesports. Great retake, in fact. Fnatic, they seem to be allowed a lot. I mean, mousesports' defense on B is very lax right now, so they can just sort of walk in half the time. That is really scary.
And credit to Fnatic for pulling so many players towards mid and making them focusing on that, allowing those double AWPs to actually get their play through towards B. It's just really nicely set coming out from, I'm trying to think who it was actually from the T side. I can't remember who was playing by mid, but anyway, that aside, 3-6 now. Fnatic are in the lead, but not by much. But you said there is a large margin here that mousesports need to get to until you start considering maybe we've got a big game on our hands. They have had the upturn recently, though, so they are starting to look a little bit better in these last couple of rounds. JW is completely out on long scot-free, and Spiddy now has to deal with what's coming up on shore.
Yeah, I think amongst sort of equal teams that are equally good on Dust 2, if there even is such a thing, I think 6 rounds is manageable on the CT side. You can still definitely like win the game from that position. But this is not equal teams here. Great start though. Nico taking 2 and still waiting, and you see he hasn't reloaded the gun either. He's aware there might be a third player. In fact, JW coming up long now. Can he make the crossing? Nico jumping back up to the site here, and he's going to get the triple. And now just another 2 here left for the Fnatic team. Olof on the other side wants to challenge, and Nico might just accept that he's going to go for a couple of clicks. Then grenade and headshot, and suddenly it's back into a 2-on-2 from a 2-on-4. This would be devastating for mousesports if they can't pull through.
And Olaf's going to take the fight. The flash is perfect. He's got it set brilliantly for him. They don't even expect it. Next was still looking the wrong way in this. Dennis is going to play on the retake if that bomb does even get planted. It does seem as though Crim's baiting out, seeing if he'll take the challenge. Dennis walks into it. God almighty. Olaf Meister and Crims, what a combo in that.
That 2v2 breaks the rhythm of what you expect if you're mousesports, because you know they have the bomb site. You even probably hear the like, he clicked the bomb once, right? You hear the couple of clicks in CT spawn, and in your mind, you've been playing, 1,000 rounds like this where they put the bomb down, you try and retake, and they try and hide and pit in a bomb site. And instead, Fnatic, they fake it, they go and challenge both of them middle out on top of that really good flashbang. You're right, that was incredible. And then they only go for the plant afterwards. It's brutal.
That sums up Fnatic pretty well. Brutal at the moment. It's been pretty insane to watch, but Nico's been trying to do everything he can at the moment. He's been succeeding pretty well as Crims just gets scalped, but it's a trade out in the end as JW will find Nico in return. So 4v4, good damage done considering mousesports are only on the pistols, but by now Fnatic taking that mid control step by step as Chris J is going to be lurching ever closer. He could actually do something with this one. He's going to be right in the right place at the right time for once, but whiffs a couple of shots, and suddenly it's not so great. But Spiddy's there to pick up the pieces, and again trades it out to this 2v2.
Right, this would be one of those rounds that mousesports, some momentum could turn here. They're going to try and see if they could do it next. Not quite going to be able to hit the shot, going for it again with the Deagle. While Olaf Meister here is making his way up to the A bomb side. Going to definitely be a bomb plant. But I mean, 2 Deagles, it's definitely possible.
I'm wondering how much is recoverable in mid as well. Next has got himself the AWP. I'm pretty sure there's at least a rifle down there as well, so they could work with something, but Dennis doesn't want to leave his post. He's trying to catch anyone on the cross, trying to spot anyone out, trying to do what he can with his Deagle, and Olaf's just taking the fight here. He's going to finally back away with a little bit of maybe, not necessarily common sense, but just a little bit of chilling out on that one, and still, it doesn't even matter. Fnatic close it down on this, and it seems like, okay, it gets pretty close, but then when JW and Olaf are playing so well, and then occasionally you get, Flusher and Crims doing pretty good. Dennis has been pretty quiet, but it's just, these guys are just so relentless in this. mousesports aren't even having the room to get a full buy-in. I've barely seen these guys with AWPs coming out. I think we saw a double AWP once, and that was pretty much it, apart from this round.
And it's Nico and actually Chris scouting instead, so yeah, it's still really rough here for the CT side. Not going to try and challenge long just yet. Chris on this side. They need every round from here on out. They gotta make this 7-8, which I don't think is impossible. Some of these rounds have been close. A lot of the rounds have been close. Fnatic's economy can't be through the roof just yet. That's, I think, the only silver lining right now I could really see for mousesports is that they do keep being in 2v2s.
They're bringing it close. Just need them to start closing them down. But Boost coming out in mid. That's going to be next. Just on top there, just going to try and keep eyes on Cat and hold a bit of a nice angle towards the mid push. And to be fair, Fnatic have been doing a couple of mid plays coming through, baiting out mid and then just hitting through those B tunnels pretty proficiently. But it's going to be Chris J again. linchpin on this one. He might be baited out here and see if who's going to take the shot. He's got all 4 players lining up. He's going to have to be so cautious, careful, call it what you want. He's got 2 tags, no kills coming in, and Fnatic have the side to hand. Or at least till that flash comes in. Yeah,
that was a beautiful flashbang here, and at least it's going to tie it up in a 4-on-4, but the bomb is definitely going to go down. It's going to be so hard for mousesports to retake once again. They have 1 smoke with which to try and get in here, and where on earth are they going to try and use it? JW already spotting out 1 guy in window, and Fnatic still have more equipment. They have another smoke that just went up, a grenade going out as well. They're just buying so much time, and JW setting up some sort of door play there. Olaf Meister getting a kill as well. They're trying to get him, but Dennis and Olaf shutting them out of the round. And Nico, well, he's out of time, and Dennis will take him out.
It's kind of hard to watch because they're getting so close and then just stumbling. As you said, though, the economy's not completely flush with Fnatic. They're not perfectly well set in this, but they're winning the round. So
yeah,
it is what it is until mousesports start actually punishing them for maybe being a little bit down and out, maybe starting to cost them a little more with these deagles, maybe starting to win a couple of these rounds, but it's just not happening. And you're running a dangerous game if you're jumping back on mid like that.
Yeah, that almost looked like they would just...
Screw it.
Yeah, they were just fooling around at that point. I'm wondering if we can see after this round how many rounds Fnatic have had 2 people left in, because even the last one, I mean, it was 2v1, but still.
Yep.
It seems like it's close-ish, but they just win all the clutches, and at the end of the day, I guess that's enough for Fnatic.
Oh no, the sacrificial lamb then of Chris J just kind of got left out to dry. He was going to be trying to boost up Nico, and he just didn't have a chance to. Now Fnatic have complete control on A, but not enough maybe to get the bomb down just yet. 3 players starting to kind of consider their way through ramp, but it's Crims to find next. Olaf to find Chris J, and again, this might get close, but it's certainly not going to be around when Olaf is landing these shots. No armor, no kit, and I'd love to see how many times Nico is the last man standing in these rounds. And I doubt he's going to get much out of this one. Oh no. No.
Olaf actually has some
Not
mercy.
like this.
Okay, that's 1, 2, 3, 4. God, we're good at counting. Then down to 1.
I'm proud of myself. English schooling. 1
as well. I mean, this is mad. In the beginning, it's really good, but that's a lot of really close rounds. Don't want to say that that's sort of them. You know, mousesports deserve more or anything, but you got to think if they win just a couple of these clutches, at least they bounce up to like 5 or 6 rounds here, and then it's playable, right? But this is quickly turning into a bit of a slaughter here as Dennis.
How is Dennis up here?
He did this on Inferno as well, just running in where he's not supposed to be. Chris gonna pick up a kill on Flusher, and actually Dennis goes down as well. Seemed like he should have maybe tried and push through. Olaf gonna get killed, and now it's up to JW and Crims. And just on JW with plenty of time here.
There's the first lined up. Nico goes down. He expects the pullback coming in from Mouse. They don't quite land too many shots, and actually they're peeking straight out again. Chris J, dangerous game he's playing. Bomb is at B though, so in theory, mousesports should have this completely locked down. Theory.
But you could tell that JW doesn't know where the other player is. He knows definitely, obviously, one of them is at the B side, but a little bit of a question as to where the second player is. JW shouldn't be able to clutch this, but you never quite know. He's got so much time, and it's not so easy for them to hide inside B here. They might have to show themselves a little bit. Dennis going to pick up the kill, though. Triple for him without taking any damage in the round. It's going to make it 10-4.
Okay, so
Fnatic don't have any money for the last. This is
it's insane.
Devastating.
The difference, 1 round actual win, or a couple of rounds back to back that aren't just kind of nudged away from them. This is the difference it can make. Suddenly they're down to Tech 9s, a Deagle or 2. They've still got the AWP there on JW, but only 1 rifle out for Olaf. So it's a big swing around, and 2 AWPs back out for mousesports. But then we saw what can happen even between your Fnatics and your Envies. If the economy starts dwindling, if it starts going downhill, they just don't manage to get these rounds, and mousesports certainly suffering under the hand of that after losing so many to even just those 2 alive for Fnatic. But looks as though Fnatic again trying this kind of like mid, kind of like B presence, and Christian this time no scout in hand, it's actually an AWP.
It finally is, and they've got the tower going on in the middle here, and this time it works out just fine. Chris gonna pick up a kill as well, and they're trying to charge up behind it. They do have a Tech 9 to lead it, so why not just keep running? Chris with a really nice flick, but he's not gonna be able to best Crims. Instead, it'll be a 2-on-4 with the bomb stuck right in front of that doorway, and Dennis, he's very low on health. It's a bit risky for him to try and pick it up. Oh no!
God, that nade! That could have been deadly! Dennis just about staying alive. Re-smoke comes out from Crims towards the door. There's 4 players here. They need to sacrifice someone they can once it comes to the time to do so. But there is still a lot of time left. They don't need to just charge into this yet.
Fnatic really want them to make a mistake as well. Dennis is going to pick up an AWP at least. If they can make them peek and make it into a 2v3. I mean, it's more manageable, but now Crims is low on health as well. Should be unlosable this round.
Dennis is being closed in on as we speak. Spitty through the B tunnels. He's trying to do what he can. He's got the gun that can allow him the chance to. Just needs to find one. Lets the, I guess, the alarm ring once. Now 25 seconds is coming down to it. mousesports showing good discipline at this point. But that bomb will eventually start going down. Good counter again from Mouse, just showing a little bit of a hand. No one pushing, but now the bomb's down. They need to play on this retake.
Fnatic really trying hard in the round that they already have so many rounds, but you can tell that they're taking it very seriously right now. Speedy trying to see if he'd crouch in here. It's all about timing, and Crim's going down, Dennis going down as well. And mousesports playing it smoothly, which is important at the end as well. 10-5 for the first half in favor of Fnatic. But again, if we scrolled over all those rounds that were down to a 2v2 or a 1v2, and Mouse should have had more. They could have had 8 rounds. They really could have.
But the thing is that you look at them, they look so dejected at this point. It's just, excuse me, but they're doing okay. As I said, like they've had close rounds. They're not exactly losing out drastically. If they get their heads back into the second half,
when they lost that game to LG, it just seemed like they were a little bit upset at that situation. To be quite honest.
Yeah, tiltiness was real.
I was half expecting someone to break a monitor or a mouse or something, but.
I was kind of hoping. It's always good, like, especially with the player cams. It's just like great to see a little bit of the rage, just a little bit. But
pick it up and throw it.
Oh, please do. Someone. If you're out of the tournament next, just lob your keyboard or something. But we are seeing the rather characteristic deagle coming out for Nico now into the pistol, something that Henry does go on about alongside NIP. Spitty with the utility, everyone else just armored up, and on the other side, 4 pieces of armor. Crims just being the man with the kit and nade.
And obviously a pivotal round here for mousesports, and we talked about how good they are in pistols. I mean, it should definitely be possible for them to win it. But right now, very little map control, and with Dennis sneaking up in middle like this, he's going to have sort of advanced notice whatever happens right now. I mean, this is just, it is kind of like default spread for mousesports. It's just very, very slow. So slow that they haven't even got to middle by a minute mark here. So they've got to be careful, because if they lose a player now, you got to imagine that they're not going to speed up, because where would they speed up to? They have to slow down again. So getting out on long, though, and I'm wondering about Dennis, because he's either going to be in a great position, or he's going to be the guy who falls and takes the A-bomb side with him in the fall, essentially.
But there are 2 players still on A at least, so it's not just him. But then again, as I said, he can be pivotal, or he can unlock the gateway for the rest of mousesports now to come around. Nico hits a stunner, but he needs to keep this up, and that deagle is not connecting. Smoke's going to come in. Will allow at least to cross on the bomb, but we're down to 2 players again for mousesports. This time, they need to monster clutch this out.
And what on earth happened to the sort of the catwalk push here? Because that's obviously what they needed to come through now. There's a guy flanking long as well, which means Nico is about to be in a very tough position. He has to win this fight. It's pivotal, and he gets JW down. What a shot from Nico. He had pretty much one chance to get that through, and now it's going to be a 2-on-2. And it would be incredible if they could bring it back right now. Fnatic going for a bit of a tower there. That means they know where both the Fnatic players are as well. That's a dead giveaway. Nico down on long, looking for more 1 deeks. Still 5 bullets left, hasn't reloaded yet. And Fnatic spending a lot of time, wasting a lot of time doing this. Speedy taking care of business on his end, not giving himself up. And Nico going for more damage here. It's going to be another kill coming through. It's a headshot as well. He finally goes down, but I don't think there's time. Fnatic, they do have a kit, but they're simply out of it. What a round for Nico. A triple and a knife fight as the bomb goes up.
Nico, what an insane player. Can we just see what he's on right now overall?
20 kills.
That's absolutely ridiculous. You know, when you look at like Olaf or JW, you're like, oh, cool, that's fine. But then Nico doing this, it looks so insane. And these rounds are so imperative. Him with that deagle, I don't think they would have done without it. Considering that mid-split really didn't equate to much, he kind of just got swept aside then from mousesports. It was all on Nico to pull that sort of play through, and he did. And now looking at what Fnatic are bringing, we're going for the force-up, of course. A good couple of CZs, couple of scouts coming out, but already Nextly's getting things started. As JW trying to run the gauntlet towards B, but not having much luck.
Flusher with a bit more equipment, because he got the knife kill in there, so got
those cash dollar bills.
The bonus for that, definitely very cool. Dennis to just stand up and give Nico a little bit back. You know, a bit of revenge with the deal. It's going to bring it back into a 4-on-4.
You start getting worried when you see Fnatic starting to do these sort of things, and mousesports being so hesitant, so tentative now, because where are these guys going? They've lost all the information at B. They know that there's a push-up, but where? How far have they gotten? Can they play through mid? Is there a stack? Is so little on the table, and considering they've got the 3 rifles, you don't want to lose them. Dennis is the one with the AK. He's already down to 29 HP. Flush has been completely smoked out, but they are going to go for this B hit. But look at this play as well from Fnatic. Pulling one player in towards the tunnels. There's still one as well behind Crims. If he can just do some damage here, that'd be perfect.
It was a great grenade coming out of Flusher and CT Spawn, but now they're in the bomb site, and they still got Nex in the middle here, just buying even more time. It's going to make it a really awkward retake for Fnatic if they wanted to try and do it here. They're going to get the kill there. Dennis actually up on the box to take him down, but a Molotov comes out, and Chris try and see if he can make the jump. And it seems like Fnatic might be content to just take away as many rifles as they can here.
They've done a great job already. I don't see why not. Still the 2 scouts there. They've got a Galil to come through for Dennis if they want it. Dennis has at least found one. Spinny finds another, making it costly here. This is perfect. And actually, Fnatic may be overextending a little bit, but Chris J and Dennis need to keep this one careful, and they do. Dennis is going to back away from this. He will at least keep a Galil to hand. I wonder if Dennis can even get out of that.
I think he's going to just...
Oh, he's fine, yeah.
But, I mean, triple kill for Dennis. Still, they lose 3 players on the mousesports side in spite of sort of being in the bomb side. I mean, I like the idea that Fnatic locked them in. I just don't know why they would give up on it. Why not just stay where they were and wait for mousesports to run out of the bomb site?
It's a great question. If I was it in Fnatic's mind at any singular point, I'd give you an answer. But at the moment, it has at least put Fnatic back down here. So we actually might have a game on our hands if mousesports keep this up on their T side. Of course, we haven't seen the full presence of Fnatic just yet, but it's a good beginning into what was a bit of a shaky start for mousesports, at least in the second half. So nice play through long, just pushing the way through, but that flash is absolutely perfect from Dennis. They line up, he only gets a couple though, gets a bit of damage done. Actually quite a bit of damage done. Next, Spiddy and Dennis all pretty low now. And Fnatic know exactly where they're going. Look how quickly JW's got here.
Oh, if only he had a better weapon, I feel like. This could still work if mousesports don't immediately get the kills on A, if they've drawn in sort of a long fight here. But yeah, it looked like Dennis was about to spray down 5 players, more or less. That was ridiculous. The one time where you really wish you had a Negev. Nico trying to make the cross, but Olaf, he's going to get the kill next. We'll take one down in return, and JW trying to flank around, but great play from Dennis. He sees it coming. Not going to be this time.
All right, Flusher, what you got? Bomb's going to go down. Tries to go for a little jump shot, not going to get it. Next shows his hand, and Next will close it out. That's the imperative round coming in for mousesports. They need to keep as many people alive. It looks so deadly with Dennis then on long. It looked like, okay, well, suddenly we're kind of up a creek without a paddle, let's just say. Is now Christian's actually got the spawn on long with the AWP, so this could be quite interesting if he actually goes straight on for this shot. He's had a bit of a mare, to be fair, in this tournament so far. And previous, I think you could maybe stretch it out to that with the AWP, but I'm hoping this is a confident round for him, because he's going to have a lot of people coming his way.
Well, flashbang out once, but he gets a double grenade in return, and it's down to 35, so I wouldn't say risk-free for Fnatic, but you can tell there wasn't much of a chance for him to get any kind of shot there. And that's obviously going to be annoying. Molotov in the corner, JW, he has to run out, and Nico's there, just reads it so well.
Well, that's a great way to thin out the numbers on the Fnatic side now, having to put their players in slightly different places, pulling them in a little bit closer towards mid, making sure there's no mid to B split coming in. They still have one man posted up on the B side, so it's not all over just yet for Fnatic. They can certainly find a way to play this one through, but Nico is looking hungry in this round. And they could go for this mid to B here if they fancy it. Dennis, pretty close by here.
Interesting flashbang over. See that every day. 4-on-4 right now, sorry, 4-on-5, and I like the fact that mousesports are playing this one so slowly, because it's not uncommon, especially when you're on the CT side. You're down a man, you want to make some sort of information play. You can see Fnatic actually are not right now, but mousesports should be expecting it anyway. Great start here. He's getting Nico picking up a second kill. Mousesports CEO on the phone just saying, more hours, Nico, just do more work. I know you're already fragging and carrying this game, but gonna need more. It's a third headshot as well. Now it's down to Dennis and Creams. Nico's just an amazing player. I can't even believe it.
And the things, they're not just like random kills. They're such important kills. He's got openers. He's got the ones that could have defined the outcome of the round. And now the last two are so far out of it, it doesn't really matter. But
I mean, he's... I don't want to say anything. This is obviously a team effort, but Nico's playing the best team in the world and doing this. That's the other thing, right? It's not just that he showed up at, like, you know, some local land. It's 23 kills. He is actually top fragging in the game right now. in spite of them sort of being in the midst of a comeback here.
And I just find it incredible it's against these individual players. You look at maybe your, I guess if you wanted to be, just for the argument's sake, you want to look at more tactical teams, and sure, maybe Fnatic aren't the most tactical team, but they have all the aimers that make it incredibly hard. If Nico is doing this against maybe your Navis or your Luminosities, not necessarily known for everyone being that well-rounded heavy hitter, but on this team it's like, oh, okay, you got to win like 3 1v1s essentially against, well, you can start with like Olaf, then find GW, then maybe Flusher, if you don't mind, Nico, because that'd be really cool to help us get this round in. And I'm just hoping the mousesports can keep this up because, to be fair, the scoreline's getting pretty close now. It's 9-10. Fnatic's economy is pretty bad at the moment. They've got, what, 2 rifles left in on this, one on Crims, one on Dennis.
At this point, Nico needs, like, instead of being on a team, needs to be like, you know, freelancing, so people can hire him on a team and just to qualify for some tournament. Sending an invoice, saying,
I got this many kills.
Yeah,
pay me.
40 kills every map, it seems. Let's go.
Absolute monster. All right. Smoke's going down along. Pretty basic stuff, I guess, from mousesports, you could say, in a way. I'm not sure if the smoke was perfectly on then, actually, and Flush is going to catch a glimpse of Nico. He's hopping onto the cars, trying to get a glimpse above, and JW's going to find room to use the rifle. How are they being allowed this much room? Mouse had some control on long. Now it's down to this 3v2, and there's a recovered rifle in hands of JW. Crims has got one for himself. This is not looking so clean anymore.
No, I was getting really worried for a moment there. It's good that they turned it into 2v3 at least. Fnatic going to try for a bit of a boost here, and Dennis, he does get the kill on JW for a minute. That looked horrific, and now Crims, well, he should realize this is probably not going to happen. He's walking into a really, really evil crossfire here. He's going to end up trying to get back instead. We'll get Speedy killed, but I think it was Crims earlier who actually landed that shot and pit ridiculously.
Oh, yeah.
That was at the start of the day. A really, really nice pre-fire for him. But this time, not going to happen. And it's going to tie the scoreline at 10-10 here on Dust 2. And mousesports coming alive. This is where I get to be not such an optimistic person. Because if I'm mousesports right now, this is why, obviously, I'm not playing in a professional team. But
really,
I wouldn't be thinking, wow, great guys, we made it back to 10. I'd be thinking, God damn, if we'd just won some of those 2v2s in the first half, imagine where we'd be right now, you know?
And then you add in how the last game finished. Even if as a team you're over that, I guess, it still is like an individual player. It's so hard mentally to come across these small things. It makes you less confident on peaks, but they're going to have to go for it here as it's going to be JW on B. And already, I think we just heard the ult go off from Chris J, so they certainly know what's coming their way. But I don't think they expect so many players here. 4 in the B tunnels for mousesports. JW, the one on the back of the B site, just trying to keep his eyes trained in on anyone showing their hand, and at the moment, mousesports just slowing it down a bit.
Better wonder if they knew that he was still there. You could see JW sort of had the inkling, and mousesports actually respecting it so much that they choose to smoke it off. They're not going to take any chances.
That's how the frying pan into the fire, really. It's like, do you want to challenge JW kind of holding the angle, or Olaf now? As at least he's going to back away from that, so they could get a step towards mid, but it's very slow map control from mousesports. They are giving a lot to Fnatic early on if they want it, but the hits coming out from mousesports toward the ends have been pretty darn impressive, at least on the T side. And here we go again, sending the 2 through mid. 3 actually bombs in mid as well. Flush is going to be the one to try and get the timing right through this smoke, and he is going to make the challenges. JW just has to sit and wait. He knows players are coming in, but he doesn't expect them that close. Flusher and Crims are doing the work. Dennis is already on the site. Crims isn't far away, and this is all over the place. Only 3 left alive, and Dennis is on 3 HP.
That grenade somehow did not tack him, otherwise this would have been a disaster. Now it's winnable, especially with Nico picking up the 1 kill there. Goes for the second one, hits a headshot on Crims, and Dennis finally going to go down. The second grenade will do the job. Nico knows there's another player, a third one coming in for Upper Dark. Great information right now, and they're going to choose to push. This is great Counter-Strike. Nico going for it, but he's not going to get it. Olaf gets shot in the back instead. He turns around for the headshot. How does Speedy not get the kill? It's a triple instead for Olaf Meister.
I've got
it's so good.
Oh my god.
The choice is so good. They know the third player is Upper Dark, so if they both push out and kill Olaf Meister, the round is definitely won. But
Nico was instantly on that as well. He was playing ahead of a couple of seconds. He had a couple of seconds to make that happen. And he instantly thought, okay, just take the 1v1, let's see if we can win it out on that. And then maybe we can just have the 2v1 and just work off the back. But it just...
It's such intelligent play. I mean, it's very, very smart, and it's so hard to do when you're playing at this level under this much pressure. But somehow he does it anyway. But they could. I don't know how Speedy couldn't follow up that kill. It seemed like it should have been done. Olaf going to pick the first kill there, and almost the second one. Nico down to 3 health, but he did hit a headshot. And now Dennis in the pit, and could they root him out? Backup is coming for Dennis, but He's going to take care of business himself. Gets the one flashbang in as well. Bomb is down, and it's a 2 versus 4.
It's Chris J and Nico. Now, Nico's on 3 HP. Chris J, though, still has a little bit to work with the AWP, but now pretty much all is done and dusted. This kind of smoke. Chris J just going to be sat there like, what can I do? And suddenly, you're going to see Fnatic coming back around with a couple of these rounds back-to-back. You know, 12 rounds on the board now. The double AWP hasn't been hugely, I guess, successful to its own right, but it has complemented everything else really well so far for Fnatic. So the T side here, going back in on this one.
Yeah, and look at it. I mean, they were clearly having a conversation there about should we do it or not. They feel like they've been close enough, I think, that Fnatic's economy is not going to be great. They're not wrong either. It's definitely not so solid for the Swedish side here. Man, this is a mad game right now. Chris gonna open up on JW. Oliver and Nico are tied for kills. I think both of them at 26. This could still go either way. With Fnatic's economy being what it is, if they lose this round, well, they could maybe, if they save like 2 rifles, like they could make a buy happen. But if not, they need to eco.
I'm wondering if mouz do take themselves to B now. JW's been kind of moonlighting, I guess, at B a hell of a lot in these rounds. They took him away from mid after that late peek coming out from Chris J, but maybe they want to try and exploit this. Crims is still here. It's not exactly an easy challenge suddenly when it's just Crims, but he's out of utility. He has nothing else to put to the plate, so the flashes that they have here at mousesports could be actually put some good use, and they've got 45 seconds to work with. It looks like they're going for this.
Nico going to be leading the charge. Crims inside the bomb site, but that pop flash there, I think, interrupted Crims, and Nico, all he needs is a second to get that kill. 5 versus 3, and again, considering the money Fnatic have, they need to fall back, and that's what they're going to do. Good job.
Yeah, really nice little read then coming out from mousesports, at least in my eyes, is they found where JW was, they took him out of the game pretty much and then just exploited wherever he's been kind of assisting and where he's been playing towards. Generally, it's been Olaf kind of supplementing the A side of things, keeping presence on short or supporting it along with Dennis if required. However, this time around, it was mousesports just going, okay, well, we got that maybe we can work off this. And as soon as Nico does Nico things, suddenly that's like, hey, bomb site is ours, fantastic, get the plant. And they shouldn't actually lose any rifles out of this one either.
I wonder if in a round like that, if it even makes sense for Crims to be there alone. Like, I'm wondering if they could have had a better setup in general, Fnatic, to try and do it. Because it seems very unlikely that Crims would ever get, like, a triple kill, basically, in that position.
See, it's like if he had a little bit more utility, I wouldn't mind him being there longer, but when he had the solo flash used it, it's like, well, what else can he really do here? Make contact on one trade, but then you still lose the site anyway, so maybe just play on that retake would have been maybe better. But I have got a timeout coming in. I'm not sure who that's for, actually.
I'm guessing Fnatic.
I'm assuming so.
Yeah, they save 3 rifles they can't buy, but they might be a bit worried that their mousesports are getting just a bit too close for comfort. I mean, it's 12-11 right now, so I'm simultaneously impressed and upset that that mousesports have got this close, but also just again all those 2v2s they come back to haunt me, and probably mousesports more. Yeah, this is. If they even win 2 of those 2v2s and there were like 6 of them, then it's probably going to be like match point, because you have to factor in the loss of economy as well. So it could well be like match point here for mousesports. Instead, they're around down, and JW going to open up and take down Chris. A great start.
And Chris was the one doing so much, actually a good bit of early work. A lot of people looking towards the likes of Nico, of course. He's been the one, the superstar at the front, but it has been Chris J slowly getting a couple of kills here or there, starting to maybe find some of that form. But Nico playing very far ahead of the smoke he was about to put down, maybe a little bit too haphazard in that. Olaf's going to completely removing off this one. And the 3 players remaining for the T side are kind of in a bad predicament here. They've got a minute left and they don't know anything about this map at the moment. Flush is going to walk through the smoke, finds Dennis pretty comfortably, and then just sprays down towards next, and everything's dashed.
A very, very comfortable round for Fnatic here, and I don't necessarily know if the timeout did anything for them or if it was just like a break of sort of, you know, the mood and just a chance for everyone to slow down. Obviously, Fnatic, we saw earlier on Inferno how ridiculous that timeout was for them. They won, what, 7 rounds in a row after they took the timeout. So this is starting to get a bit scary here. Double AWP is in effect, and the mousesports, well, they do have the economy. 3 of them could buy AKs, and instead gonna even out the money, which there's no right or wrong here, but I almost wish they'd kept the pressure up a bit more.
I think there will be as well if he keeps going towards this sort of marker. 13 to 11. It seems that so many teams get close to these sort of scorelines against Fnatic, but it's so hard to close. This is the one thing I'm going to be looking forward to, is how do mousesports intend to do so? They are down to, as you said, limited weapons to work with. Flashes coming through from Fnatic have been pretty spot on, just slowing them down. So this kind of 4-1 split coming out is going to be pretty overwhelming, actually. Dennis going to get outnumbered. Flush is caught out on long here, and Nico trying to make the most of it through the smoke, trying to find the Tracer fire. And it's Dennis again to get it. So now, okay, 4v3. HP's a little bit worse for wear, but they're still getting presents.
Oh, all of JW just denying that long crossing entirely. And Nico and Dennis very low on health. I mean, Dennis almost killed himself by running through the Molotov earlier. But Fnatic managed to reset this round, and I don't know. Fnatic would have to make a mistake, I think, for Mouse to easily get back in here. Or they have to pay Nico even more overtime, which is also starting to get expensive, I feel like. They just, it's not sustainable for their economy, really. He gets that ridiculous headshot on JW, who's actually jumping mid-air. And the trouble is the bomb is down in middle, but Nico, he's just putting in the work right here in a 1v2 against some of the best players in the world. Trying to see if he could do just a little bit more. 2 more kills, Nico. That's all we ask.
It's not much, just 2 more kills. It's only Olaf and Crims. The bomb's in a really bad position, but we believe in you, Nico. Maybe not. He's going to try and find an angle here to do some more damage, but he's already done so much into this round. Just the kills he's gotten are pretty impressive. Getting away with an AWP as well. Not bad stuff, but as I said, it's still another round on the board for Fnatic here, and you've got to start thinking maybe Fnatic are just slowly sitting there, just enjoying tightening the noose. I'm almost certain they bring it to these sort of scorelines just because they're sadistic. I'm almost certain. It's like, let's give them like a little bit of hope.
Fnatic kind of are like they kind of are like the Sith Lords of Counter-Strike.
They are.
Which is great. I mean, we need every like scene, every kind of sport, I think, needs like that one team where everyone's like, you know, they've been winning so much. We kind of feel like we have to root for them to lose at some point.
Yeah. Kind of the anti-hero almost. But, you know, the thing is that you just got to respect that level of play sometimes. It's so unreal that,
yeah,
of course, people want, you know, to see a little bit of an upset. And
luckily, they're actually quite great guys in the real world, so it's not all bad, really.
It could be worse, but it's not the best of starts. At least into this one, Nico's going to find Dennis. Now, he knows Dennis has been playing along pretty prolifically throughout this one. However, a bit of a different setup here for Mouse. 4 on towards short, trying to get that control there. It's Olaf on the other side of things, and there's still the AWP in his hand, so this could be pretty deadly. Dennis is desperate for the shot on it, but it's in the end Spitty who sacrifices Dennis to the Wolves, or at least to Olaf Meister, and they do trade out effectively. But there's still one player on long. Nico's going to know this. Where are those other 2 players coming from?
They have a weird choice to make. Either they have to group up and kill Nico and then go for the retake, or they try and go for the retake, leaving Nico behind. I mean, neither of these are very viable strategies, so Nico just being really annoying right now by staying alive. But the rest of the team doing a really good job as well, opening up the bomb site, winning that fight against Olaf. And Fnatic, are they going to be content to just steal the AWP? Nico not going to give it up and just doing more work.
Filling out his timesheet as he goes. These are additional. Anything through smoke, any no-scopes. And a couple of zeros onto the check, but Crims will at least find him. So the AWP's now been removed. I doubt they're going to claim one back. So actually they recovered both AWPs as well. Something they've been, I think, depending on is a bit strong, but they've been really looking towards keeping on to Olaf and JW at this point. And now, 14 to 12. Money's not brilliant, actually, in the end for Fnatic. They're looking pretty worse for where they can scrape something together, but certainly not ideal. And this could be another chance maybe for mousesports to build into this.
They really don't have a lot on the on the Fnatic side here. So if mousesports slow play this round, it might be a bit tricky, and maybe that's why Fnatic are playing like they don't want that to happen. Just aggressive move here on Olaf. But you see the utility. I mean, by the minute mark, a lot of this is going to be gone, and it'll get a bit tricky. Flashbang on in. They see Olaf. He jumps up. Nico trying to click away. What a dangerous thing to do. If Olaf gets the rescope in there, who knows what happens.
Could have all been over so quickly. It looks like they're maybe posturing themselves towards a B hit. And look at it. Nico is trying to find this so badly on towards Olaf. He's reading the playstyle. He's reading everything that Olaf wants to bring into this one, but Olaf is going to be burned up here, and actually with no armor, it does become a little bit more deadly, but still, it's Crims who's going to be on the receiving end of everything. 3 players coming forward. There's still 1 player on B, though. It's JW. He's still got the AWP. He's going to find the shot towards Speedy, but by now, mousesports have a good footstep into this, and there's still one in mid. That was next, but it's only 2 players here for mousesports. Bomb planted. Nico and Chris J have to go above and beyond.
Oh man, 2 versus 4 against Fnatic. They have so much time. This is going to be almost impossible. Nico hiding right in the door in the smoke. He's going to try and make his way through. They haven't seen him yet, and they're shooting at the wrong angle. They turn their backs, and he's got the AK in hand. They're doing some damage here. Chris picking up a kill. Nico, now's the time. Chris is going to go down. They're in the bomb site now, and they're already on it. They need to get this through. They're going to have a kit, so he's got a lot of time to work with here. Nico on the outside. He gets the 1 kill, comes back with the noise sprays. He wins 1 more. They're still defusing. Nico, he's going to go for it. He's got the triple. He gets the quad kill. Oh my god, Nico! That's going to be a round, and mousesports bring it to 13.
When you thought a single player could not give any more, he delivers that sort of round. Look at this again. Flusher has to come off this. This is the first you thought, okay, that shot was unbelievable. Now Flusher had to make this choice, and he just didn't hit the shot. Nico is the monster in everyone's nightmares on this map right now, and he knows it.
The absolute god tier at this point. There's no other word for it. Chris doing his job inside. He gets the 1 trade in. He buys some time. Fnatic thinking they've already checked that corner.
God.
It's absolutely absurd, isn't it?
I don't even know what to say anymore. If one man can do that to Fnatic of all teams, they even considered the option that it may be happening, but he still just got to that touch of a position early. But still, it's 13-14. And even with Nico doing something that most players could never dream of, they're not in the lead just yet. However, this should be around to bring it to 14-14. But then again, it is Fnatic. They can certainly do some damage here.
Yeah, I'm definitely not loving Fnatic's setup right now. No, they don't have any upgraded pistols. They don't have a flashbang. They are spread out across the map. I feel like this is one of those things where it's better to all stack 1 bomb site and just like buy a flashbang, hope that they sort of waltz into it and you can just get a quick kill.
The danger being though, oh my god, it just actually sets up for him. He didn't expect there to be Crims, to be honest. He thought it was still Olaf who was just going to step out. So he's dealing with the problems at B. There's 3 players there. Now Dennis has switched up. He's got the P250 on A, so he might just try and play for the plant, but I'm assuming they're going to check this no matter what. Molly's pushing him out of the site. He will be picked up. The other Dennis is going to find that, and now Flusher could be forced away. Nothing to be recovered so far. In the end, maybe a rifle could be put to the hands of Olaf if he wants to keep this one, and he might just consider his options to do so.
Yeah, I think it's definitely going to be important just to try and save what they can here. Again, the economy is hard to sustain on CT side. Especially because they've been going for double up setup and stuff like that. It's been expensive for Fnatic. This would be an absolutely insane map for mousesports if they somehow manage to turn it around. They're certainly putting in an incredible effort right now. Flusher going to be going down, and now the hunt for all of Meister. Well, I don't think they can actually catch him. I don't think it's going to be enough time here. I mean, mousesports nearly beating LG, and now they are already nearly beating Fnatic here. This is just one hell of a start for a team that has, especially on land, been struggling quite a bit.
Could they suffer another heartbreak, though? How many not like this moments can Fnatic bring to play? We saw the full defuse coming out that just shattered NIP and Henry all in one swift move. I think it was JW.
Especially Henry.
Oh, he was in a bad way. But anyway, back into this one. Fnatic are known for being able to do this sort of play, for just about claiming these wins. But then again, when you've got Nico playing on another level, and mousesports starting to look more confident, this could be good. But then again, do you want to get too confident against the likes of Fnatic, or do you have to keep that slightly well-placed mentality, even if you are doing well?
It's one of those situations where I feel like either way we're gonna sort of reverse engineer it and say that was a good idea or a bad idea. I mean,
hindsight, it just works in our favor.
Yeah, I think it's hard to say, really, isn't it? Because if they charge long and get those trades, and you know they trade 2 for nothing, then we're gonna say that's great, you know, really smart play. If they play it slow and win the round, then obviously that's gonna be the better move. I think this comes down to sort of like you know, just the years of experience they have playing and how much they know about Fnatic. And this is. It's very, very hard, I think, to get into the line of thinking when you're in the 29th round at this point. That's where it'd be great to have a coach that you could pause the game and say, what's the best play right now? You know, what are we doing?
An external view would be absolutely perfect, but at the moment, so much attention from Fnatic towards mid. Most players kind of centralizing themselves around this. They've negated the presence everywhere else, and they're actually going to go for the play on towards short, trying to show some presence, and Dennis doesn't know what's above him, and there you go, Olaf's going to get the kill, but by now, Fnatic know what's coming their way. Next is already getting towards the site. Bomb bombs on the way, but oh, stunning shot from Nex. He's going to at least keep one angle to hand.
And Nex has been very quiet here, so that's absolutely perfect. He's not going to go through the defuse. A little bit scared that he was going to end up getting killed there. They got to be a bit worried here. The bomb will go down. There's about 23 seconds there. Now it's a 4-on-3, and this is going to be very close. Nico just wrecking JW, and Crims is going to go for more. He finally goes down. Dennis with the shot, but it's a 1-on-3 still for Dennis, and it's way too much. Flashbang comes out as well. He does not have a kit picked up, so this round is definitely going to be for mousesports. And next, he's been a bit quiet, but showing himself in this round. It's 15-14, ridiculously. Mousesports have made it back, and they're now at match point. And 38 kills for Nico.
This guy's almost on a 40 bomb. He's outdoing Olafmeister. That's insane, but the big thing here is they recovered. They bounded back, at least till now. They need this final one. It's never over against Fnatic until that final round comes in. We have the triple orb, excuse me, at least in place for the early stages. And Olaf found Nico. That's going to be a little bit of a heavy blow, I can imagine, to the other players on mousesports going, out of everyone you could have picked, can you leave him up, please? Because now suddenly you can see Flusher looking to pick up anything he can. Can he find a rifle out of this, or is it just out of reach? As the rest of mousesports need to find a way back into this.
You've got to think that killing Nico at this point, if you're Fnatic, just feels great. And now the rest of mousesports they've got to close this out. Surely, if it goes to 15-15, things are just going to get real weird.
It gets terrifying, and that's when I'm not going to look at Flusher. So close. If mousesports do this, it could be absolutely devastating. They're all up by long. They have little to no map control, or information, should I say, at least for mousesports. And they're desperate to maybe try and keep that orb away. Make sure Flusher hasn't pushed up. Has anyone gotten that close?
And all Flusher would have to do here on the slope is just to trade. If he just gets one kill and dies, that's absolutely fine. And if he does more than that, well, you know things are going to go the wrong way here. Flusher has been spotted, and Chris going to move really quick here. Want to see if he can get the kill. Actually going to take that point and actually Dennis gets the kill. And on the other side, Dennis pushing up, trying to see if he can make it happen. It's Speedy and Nex coming back into it. It's a 1 versus 3 here. And sorry, Nex actually taking out Chris. That was a team kill. Speedy, he's been playing well today, but this would be something else.
Only Olafmeister really has any big weapon to work with. He's got the orb to hand. Everyone else is on the CZ or the Deagle. Crims and JW do have the kits though. Speedy shows where he is. JW is lurking on this side. Speedy's going to check it. He doesn't check it well enough, but he does get the kill. Looks for the follow-up. Crims backs away, and timing is everything. 4 seconds left. Speedy needs to make the play, and he's not got the bomb down. And we are going into overtime. This was never going to be a clean game if someone like Nico started to roll on all fronts, but I didn't expect to, this extent.
Absolutely nuts. I mean, you sort of feel like we end up overdoing it, but as soon as Nico goes down, you just feel like, oh, well, that's a bit tricky, isn't it? They surely not again. That loss to LG was completely heartbreaking. If it happens one more time, don't even know what to say. But it's interesting. If you notice, if you do a summary of this first day, which obviously we're going to do at some point, you notice that Fnatic actually looked mortal. Yes. NIP played well against them. LG beat them. I mean, this is definitely a bit of a new chapter. It seems almost, at least for the day one here of IEM. Whether
that changes down the line, who knows? Fnatic can change day to day in this. The amount of power they can bring. It's always feasible. But as you said, they haven't looked flawless. They've looked like they have some issues. No one's been that huge performer. They've had a couple of standout big games, but nothing crazy so far. But again, interesting investment from the CT side, going straight on the double AWP into overtime. A little bit, not necessarily risky, but it can cost you into the final rounds here if it does get there far and it doesn't go their way. So Dennis playing a little bit more of a defensive position, a bit of a more cautious posture. Lovely nade to follow up, and he's in a perfect position to spray down into this, but just gets picked out by Speedy, and now suddenly B is under threat. You've got Crims holding on as best he can. JW pulls himself into the site, and the flash is slowing him down, and suddenly they're poised perfectly for the flash again, put in place, and Dennis takes down Nico?
What is this? Are they jealous that he's outshining him at this point? Because I think that's the second time that Nico ends up getting team killed here. Grenades coming through, but look how low on health they are. Fnatic even have a Molotov, so that could get really tricky right now. Counter grenades coming out as well. mousesports trying to buy time. They have a Molotov. Flusher hitting that shot on Dennis. That's one of the Molotovs gone, actually. Nex still has his, and he is going to put it up now, so buying a lot of time. And Fnatic shuffling about outside the bomb site. They wanted to put Olaf in top, and now he's back outside the bomb site. and a 2-on-2, and they're going to have to try and get in through this window. AK's waiting on the other side. Next and Speedy, they're going to make it work, and a great round from them. Very important, and mousesports winning the first round of overtime.
And those double AWPs is going to start looking scary down the line if they don't make it work. Look at Olaf. He's already looking a little bit worse for wear. This round is going to be very, very important to these guys. JW going in on the AWP. No armor. And Dennis as well joining in. So they still want that double AWP. They're so adamant that they want this to stick. And last round didn't really do much. Next going to go for a little bit of presence on long very early on, but backs away. Nothing gained, nothing lost really. A little bit of HP, I guess, kind of chipped away, but by this point, it doesn't make too much of a difference. It's now 16-15. mousesports finally in the lead after what seemed like a marathon.
Yeah, now they just got to get, you know, get their heads in the game. This is where like Counter-Strike changes so much when you're playing overtime, because Fnatic have so much more experience playing this kind of game than mousesports do. This is where players start to make small mistakes, but I actually think those mistakes are some of the most interesting sort of parts of the game, because you get a sense for the player's character, and you need to be pushed this far out to be able to see that. Anybody could do well in the beginning of a best of 3, you know, in overtime in a best of 1. Everything counts, and this is where it gets really interesting. And Dennis here, just sliding up against the box. He's going to fall back, in fact, has the AWP in hand, and we'll see he sees the head of one player, and these counter flashes coming out are holding mousesports back, and Dennis is there. Easy pick up on Dennis, going for a second one. Nico gonna get the refrag headshot, but he goes down a flusher, and they're just trading back and forth. It's into a 3-on-3 with about 38 seconds left, and they need this bomb plant, mousesports.
They really do. JW's pulled himself so much closer than they'd want to, but Krishay is going to go for that bomb plant, and it has gotten down. Already the others positioned well towards short. Krishay was out on a limb doing that, but I don't see much of a way back into this for Fnatic. They are kind of stuck here in probably the least ideal positions to play on this retake, but they're looking for these initial fights. And JW, I've seen him hit jumping shots from here, so... Oh, don't you dare do it again. Don't go for this. He's going for it. He doesn't land it this time. Going to have to back away out of that. The crossfire's well set for that sort of boost or play, but Crims has got himself through to the side. He's going to hit the shot towards Krishay, and now the 2-on short needs to come into the action, and they're being shut down. Flusher comes in, as does JW, and Fnatic, even in the final throws of these rounds, will not let it slip. They keep the double AWP. They play the retake, even though the bomb was planted perfectly for those players.
Now, I said some mistakes start to come out, and you gotta wonder, as long as nobody's tapping the bomb, what is the pressure to try and peek from any of these angles, really? If they put up a smoke, then yes, you're under some pressure. They did have a Molotov for Fnatic. If that goes up somewhere, maybe you start thinking, okay, I've got to peek to see what's going on. Up until that point, though, you might as well try and play it safe, and now they're going to try and rush in towards this B-bomb site. JW is here, and he shuts down next. They're coming through, though, and Dennis going to be picking up 1 kill. JW still terror inside, looking for more shots, and he almost hits that one. In fact, I think he may have actually hit Speedy just a bit through the top of the wall then, and he's just a rock in this bomb site. JW with the triple kill, now up on the box, and look at the rest of Fnatic chiming in. Nico, he's going to get the 1 kill, but he's out of bullets, and it will be Olaf to finish the first half overtime. But what a ridiculous defense put up on JW.
Absolute mayhem, but he completely thrives in it, just coming out with the goods. I don't know how he was allowed to stay alive that long. You had 4 players charging at him, but didn't seem to really care. So, as you said, this is the difference, though. You look at the round before where there was a bomb plant, perfectly set, really good position considering where Fnatic were coming from, and still mousesports kind of dropped the ball there. Then you go to this round where actually JW was in a bad spot for that, but he still managed to keep composure, buy the time and do the damage. There's a big caliber of kind of difference between these players. Even in the most, the highest of pressure situations, you see the difference start to show.
Absolutely, and again, just to reiterate, for any new viewers that we have coming into the game, coming into the scene, we're looking for the first team to 19 rounds here, because we're playing overtime, and ooh, what a jump from JW. That's a style of peeking that we only really saw to come into CSGO after they sort of nerfed the AWP when you have scope, you move a bit slower. In 1.6, it was quite popular, and people did it on a regular basis, but didn't hit the shot, and again, mousesports, they would need to win a good 3 rounds here, whereas Fnatic just 2 away from taking the map.
And everything changes if mousesports win this. Suddenly the groups become quite strange, and I'd love to see how it can pan out off the back of this, but still, keeping our eyes focused.
I don't even know how that works. I rely on smarter people than myself to
I'm really bad at that.
Yeah,
when I used to play games, I didn't even look at brackets. I don't really understand, so Hopefully Matt on the desk can handle it.
I think it's because there are usually always smarter people around anyway, so I don't really have, like, no one's forcing me to understand it anyways.
Yeah, we need to bring Semler back with you, so then at least maybe you can work it out. I don't know. But anyway, Fnatic...
I said smarter people, yeah.
I was trying to be nice.
Oh.
Right, I'm trying to be nice. Alright.
I was just trying to get a stab at you. It's what
You don't
happened.
get many chances to, because you're always together, I guess.
Yeah.
Actually, no, you do. You do pretty well, considering.
We make it work. We make it work. Smoke goes off into CT spawn, and it's looking like a bit of a split. There are 3 people here from mousesports. Somehow, they've seen this coming, and that could actually be a very, very good call coming out here from the CT side. Now charging up next, spraying furiously, hitting 1 and 2. Great kills coming through, and Dennis helping out. Crim's going to be going down. It's JW to refrag, but the AK's picked up here in a horrible position for Fnatic to be in right now. Chris in the back of the bomb site, and you don't have an easy way to punish him either. Bomb is down outside of B. What a great play from Next there.
Lovely. Putting himself just on that ramp pull-up, exactly where Nico, did the incredible round. So these sort of positions, maybe just not on Fnatic's radar in their minds, not often played and not often successful. And as you said, mousesports just, I don't know if they were just in the right place at the right time, or just don't want to take that fight in mid. Whatever it was, it put them in the perfect place to sit there for that. So Nico making it to 41 kills. This is overtime, of course. He didn't do it in regular.
Now 38 in regular, I think.
Yeah,
so
that's still pretty right, I guess.
I think that's acceptable. That's it's definitely passed on that one.
All right.
They managed to save the AWPs on Fnatic, so they're going to be doing quite well for money just on that front alone. Olaf looking for just one opening. Dennis on the other side, he's actually going to go for the peak. Very, very scary. All he had was an AK or an M4, so not much of a chance for him to win that fight.
Yeah, I'm looking over the other side of the map. Dennis is looking for a fight on long. See if he can get some control here, or at least get some presence going. As Chris J is watching this, though, so it wouldn't be the most, I guess, ideal of situations. They don't have short control. There is a player pushed down there at the moment, so trying to keep that area in check, and that will be Spiddy keeping that one. Then Chris J's going to back away, just going to drop the smoke out for Spiddy, but the smoke's coming to long, so maybe Chris J wondering if that was the right choice, but at least he'll be here to watch the cross. The molly's going to come out, and it looks like it's just going to be on A long here from Fnatic, just trying to make this play happen. And 5 alive still, though, for mousesports.
Chris can't really get the cross shots easy here. Flick going to be missed, and Crims will take him out. Now they've given up the bomb site entirely, and this retake is just going to be really difficult for mousesports, but they obviously have to go for it here. Can't really allow Fnatic to just get this round for free. Speedy is moving up catwalk, but the problem is there's still a player in middle, and that's Olaf, I think, moving up with the AW behind Speedy, and that could be a round-winning move here for the Swedish player. Flusher goes down, and so does JW, but Olaf comes in. Dennis is there as well. Now it's a 2-on-2. That bomb still taking inside, and Olaf, he's taking this fight. I don't think he needs to. No one's on the bomb. It doesn't matter. Olaf going to pick up a double, and so will Crims, and Fnatic going to make it to match point here.
How many dreams can Fnatic shatter in one singular day at the moment? It was first NIPs, then mousesports seem to be having their, ideas of...
Do we count all the people who bet on mousesports? And then it's a lot of dreams. Like, we're talking like in the hundreds of thousands per day.
That's it. That could be it. Dreams are dashed, but anyway, we are going into the final round of this version of overtime. We could be going to a second, bearing in mind, but at the moment, Nico is going to have to do some big work here. It's been a little bit quiet, I guess, for Nico standards on the CT side, but that's still saying quite a lot for him. But this is going to be Fnatic's real throw into this round. What can they do here? The play towards long was good. It was great. They held everything the Mouse were trying to bring at them. The retake just didn't work out from Mouse. But this time, a good little bit of a look towards the B side. Bomb is here.
This is such an exciting game because I feel like some of the Fnatic games are won because their players sort of make, to spore a tennis term, sort of unforced errors. Yep. Whereas I feel like mousesports have not really made, it's not like a long list of stuff they made. And the errors that have been sort of minor, but playing against Fnatic, they have a big result, a big consequence. But mousesports are playing a tight game right now. Fnatic are they're being pushed a lot here to try and come up with one last round. Nico goes down early, and we all know just how bad that could be for the mousesports team. Dennis, though, is making a great play. And again, we brought this up earlier. If you're a man down, making plays for information is absolutely key. And Dennis is getting it step by step. They know what Fnatic are doing here. Over at long, Speedy, is he going to get caught? Flashbang comes out. Have they seen him yet? They are going to go and check it. And Dennis instantly shutting him down. Now there's one more player on long and just going to be traded.
And if maybe Next can buy some time, that'd be great. It'd allow Dennis to come into the action, but by now flusha is just toying with his meal, and there we go. Crims takes him out of here. Now Dennis has all three lined up, sitting, waiting for him. He takes so long to take down JW that everyone else now knows it, and Olof's gonna be the one watching this push up with those eager eyes, and there it is. It's Fnatic to shatter mousesports, and no matter how hard they seem to try, mousesports crumble under the weight of Fnatic.
What an unreal game this has been. I mean, I really don't know what more mousesports could have done. Like I said, there's just a couple of mistakes that I could think of that was sort of noteworthy. But most of the time, they're playing a really solid game. Again, there's only so much work that Nico could put in. Maybe the thing to do is to try and clone Nico, you know?
Just 5 Nicos.
Whatever money mousesports have, just invested into, like, you know, genetic research.
Whoever the sponsors are on those t-shirts, I hope you got to see them. Guys, give them money to clone Nico, please, because he dropped over a 40 against Fnatic, and
I don't even know.
But to be fair, you know, even outside of just those couple of rounds, it was I say team effort. It wasn't necessarily just a team effort. There were a lot of rounds that did come down to Nico going big, and there were a couple of other moments where you saw a couple of the players having some big plays. Next, holding that B push up didn't look too bad, but outside of that, you've got... If only you could see right now. But no, you've got to feel for players like Nico, just put their heart and soul to this. He's in-game leading. He's going like above and beyond individually. How much more can one man bring to this?
Well, it is worth pointing out. We should say this because the only way you get this many kills in a game is if your team adapts around you.
Of course.
If Nex and Dennis and whoever else, like if Chris, if they're all trying to sort of step on Nico's toes to get the same amount of kills, then the team won't work. So this is also definitely a reflection of mousesports saying, all right, Nico, if you're going to be this type of player, then we will build, you know, the team around you and try and make that work. And I mean, you have to say it's working. It's incredible. But it's just so close right now. And
it's scary though, isn't it? Because you look at other teams who maybe had that idea at some point. It was like, I guess, the Kenny S sort of thing at some point. Exactly. It works until it doesn't. Until that player has an off period. It looks fantastic, and they got so close to picking up that victory against Fnatic, but it just wasn't enough. But I do believe we are ready with the interview.
Yes.
So let's head over and hear what they have to say.
Thank you very much, Pansy. Olof, a very bleary-eyed Olof. That was tight at the end, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was too tight, to be honest, but they played good, and it could have gone either way.
Nico was going off against you, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was really good.
Just sum up today for me, because I started off the day with this big introduction talking about you as the #1 team in the world. You were the people to beat. Smart money would be on you. It's been tougher than I would have thought. Most people would have guessed it would have been for you today.
Yeah, it's been tough, but it's like, I don't know the last time we won a group stage, to be honest. We always seems to play pretty like, I don't know, not as good as we can in the start of the tournaments, and we like become better and better for throughout the tournament, but I don't know. And at this tournament, like almost everyone in our team is feeling a little bit ill, so it's even harder to feel like we have been here since 11, I think, and it's been a long day, so people are a little bit I don't know how to say, not 100%.
If you're feeling ill, I'm going to start backing away from you slowly as you're talking to me. So would you say you're happy with today? If the team's not feeling 100%, if you're not the particularly good quick starters, you don't normally win your group games, you're through to the quarterfinals, so it's an extra game, but are you happy with today or a bit disappointed?
Of course I'm not like 100% happy, but I did an interview before this tournament started, and I'm just happy that we went through, because it's like really a hard group, and one best of one is, it can go either way in a lot of games, so as long as we go through, I'm confident we can beat anyone in the bracket.
Day after tomorrow as Group B plays, do you take a day off, rest, relax, maybe take a break from each other, or do you work on something?
Everybody needs to sleep, and take it easy. And then, of course, we're going to watch the game. Probably come here and watch too.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Olof. So let's hand it back to Matt for the final time. We know the 3 that are going through from this group.
We do. Thank you so much, OJ. We do now know the 3 that are going through from this group, because just narrowly we avoided that tie-break situation. If Mouse had won that, Navi won their game, and therefore we would have had a 3-way tie with those 2 and Fnatic. In this game, let's get into it. That Nico guy is way overrated.
Overrated?
Way overrated.
Yeah, I think so. Like, yeah, he's not really pulling his weight in certain situations, I think.
I mean, mousesports, why do you do this to him? He's just a boy.
Here we go.
He's gonna have back problems soon, you know. He cannot do everything by himself. Listen, when you have Olofmeister with 37 kills in a game and no one even is talking about it, basically then you know like someone else had a insane
awesome
performance.
Yeah.
Like and it was Nico. Ended up with 42 kills in this game, which makes it 28 kills average in this tournament against 3 of the 5 best teams in the world in his group.
Yeah, he hit 38 in regulation.
This is the
Sorry,
thing,
I meant when you said that Volov at 37, then someone on his team had an off game, but I see what you were saying.
You see, like,
it's overshadowed in this game.
It kind of feels like the fact we're talking so much about Nico, they didn't even win the game, right? And it's still like he's like the MVP of the entire series. He's the one we're going to be talking about the most in this desk, and you have to feel bad for this guy, right? It's like it's the one we said where Nex and Chris J had to step up going into this one. Unfortunately, they were pretty much non-existent once again. Chris J.
He had more frags than the two of them had combined, and it's by a margin of 10 frags or more.
And this is the map where we said this is where Nex normally steps up on the CT side, and then he's just coming in like with like 10 frags in the first half, and then Chris J finished with 15 in the whole series, I think. So it's a very disappointing performance from those guys, and you do have to feel bad for Nico, who is so pivotal in so many different situations. Like he was winning 3-on-1 to even keep them in the game, and then like entry frags all over the place, picking up the AWP as well, making it work on the CT side. He was just taking on every single role he possibly could.
He had to pick up the AWP because unfortunately Chris J, even when he had it in his hands, wasn't really using it. Again this time he seemed to struggle in this game.
I mean, yeah, basically he was, again, not enough of a factor as he's supposed to be. You know, it's not just that Nico had the amount of kills he had, it's that a lot of the times they were entry kills, they were the high impact kills, and then his team, you know, somehow keeps up, right? They get into the side because of that, then they somehow play. But, you know, Chris J, that round, in was it overtime or the last round of regulation, he was behind the Gandalf
that was some of the
position,
worst thing I've ever seen.
and 2 of his players are at Cat. They cannot kill him.
Literally,
like, and
all
he
they
just
do,
speaks for
they
no
basically,
reason.
right, so they put it this way, they've got 2 lives essentially there, right? So the bomb's one for sure, they've got a guy Gandalf who's one in the round. If he stays alive, they can't defuse, right? They've got 2 lives, all they need to do is stop a CT crossing and killing him. For some reason, he faces for literally no reason whatsoever. They haven't even started defusing the bomb, and then that puts his team in a horrible situation, and that's 2 lives, literally becomes 1. They're both trying to face at the same time, give them 2 targets, and then it just fell apart.
That was up there with the NIP facing today against the Pistols and losing.
And what that is,
those 2 were brutal.
That's just cracking under pressure, right?
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
not having faith in your teammates that they are going to hold that angle for you, that they're not going to let you die, you know, just for nothing, basically, you know. And he just decides to go for a risky pick, gets punished, and they lose a round they should have won in hindsight.
Like, to be fair, from what we've seen from mousesports today, it's been pretty impressive overall. Obviously, I don't think we ever put them up there in like the top 3. Like, they were always the underdogs going into this tournament. They've taken Fnatic, the world's best team, into overtime and does 2. Ultimately, they're out of the tournament. It doesn't really amount to much, and it was just obviously the Nico storyline going forward. But at least it's signs of life for them. They're going forward. It's quite impressive to see them kind of every tournament. They won their last one at APM. Much harder opposition here for sure, but they're taking Fnatic to overtime on Dust 2. That's still a pretty good showing for them.
And they're the challenger team in this group out of the other 4 that are in the major. Let's bring up the standings right now as they sit. They are now done. They are cemented. We know our 3 teams that are going through out of Group A, but it was really the close group that we did expect it to be. Now, Luminosity, even though they're both 4-1, Fnatic and Lumi, are number 1 in the group. They go to the semis because the head-to-head, they beat Fnatic early on. And the reason I say it was close is obviously we saw mousesports in overtime there. Could have caused a 3-way tie, which would have sent us into the overtime tiebreak system. But also that NIP, who ended up beating Luminosity in their last game, very nearly beat Fnatic, and could have also made things a little bit interesting.
And it was a crazy comeback from NIP. I think they were down 12-3, even maybe 13 to
was that
something
like
like that.
Mirage?
Against Luminosity.
Yeah, that's right.
Mirage. And they had a 6 city half.
Yeah, like overall, they only really earned him $1,000. It was a bit of a redundant game at that point, and it looked like Luminosity were pretty much solidified in first place anyway. But the fact that they actually came in and kind of bounced back, we talked about them actually almost beating Fnatic earlier. They probably should have done that as well. Goes to show you, like, this new NIP. Although, like, the joke's been on me today, there is something there, right?
No, there is something. You were 2 for 5 in your predictions, Henry. Well done.
Pretty good.
With
not
Net.
bad.
That's not bad. No, there is something there, and I think with Threat on board, we're starting to see a little bit of it already. There was some good T-side on Overpass for them. We talked about the T-side on Inferno that looked like it had some stretch strategy. We're going to bring up the bracket now because remember, when we do hit into the playoffs, we get out of the groups, it's straight into a bracket format. So, as mentioned, Luminosity goes straight into the semifinal, and then the crossover format. So, at this point, Fnatic's number 2 in the group. They'll play number 3. Oh, I guess the bracket's not ready, but
Okay,
I'll explain it anyway.
About the games.
We can, but I'll just explain it while I've got it on thought. So basically, Fnatic will play number 3 from tomorrow's group, and Na'Vi will play number 2 from tomorrow's group.
Yeah, it makes sense. Obviously, they get to watch all the games tomorrow, and kind of like I said, Fnatic looking a little bit ill. They want to kind of sit back a little bit and kind of gain some intel, I guess, and work out how they're going to play it. So I guess this is a little bit of a some sort of an advantage to go into that sense. Obviously, the Group B got to watch everything today, but I guess Fnatic know where they are in the group, know who they're going to be playing, and start working out who their main top rivals may be going to the next group. So that's kind of interesting, I guess, to take away from that.
You wanted to talk about the game more, obviously, so let's go.
I wanted to mention that, you know, we talked about in the pre-show how you can play against Fnatic when they're on their CT side. So mouz did win the second half pistol. They were up 5-0, and you can see how Fnatic couldn't go for those aggressive pushes that they, you know, usually go for, right? And even in the first round of overtime, mouz on their T side went early on for that mid to B split, sent I think at least 4 players out mid, with Nico going in first. He manages to get the entry kill, and you know they fend off that Fnatic defense basically. So they had a couple of good ideas here and there, but it's basically it came down to the clutch rounds. Also the round where Nico and Speedy were in a 2v2 where they wanted to, you know, go outside of B when the bomb was planted, and Speedy doesn't get the kill on the player. Yeah, he had only 19 HP.
It was like such a set kill. It looked like it was just done. It was like he had that one in the round. It could have been in their favour, but he comes in and has an absolute blunder there as well. But it was kind of interesting. It was a change of pace for Nico, especially. He wasn't like the player like doing the distraction on the other side of the map. Like you said, he's actually going for these entry kills and actually just throwing himself into situations first. So you felt like, well, I'm hitting every single shot here. And when they're getting long control, like he's facing CT spawn and finding 2 frags and stuff like that. So it was kind of impressive to see him kind of, he does have that versatility. When the chips are down, he can kind of change up the play style of the team and kind of adapt a little bit more.
Well, I definitely think, like we said, we've seen some positive things from them. But again, group's done. It is the 3 teams we would have expected it to go through. 3 teams we did talk about being the threat in this group, although it is Luminosity that was number 1. Something to keep in mind for them moving forward in the tournament. With that said, I got the Plays TV offer on the line. I said if anyone who goes to Plays.tv, downloads the app, and then sends me their favorite play of the TV, they'll get Shadow Daggers compliments of EasySkins.com. Thanks, Henry G.
No problem. Happy to help.
Yeah, I didn't even know he was helping. But only one person sent me that Nico play. Right now, they're in the lead. But over the weekend, remember, send me some Plays.tv, your favorites of the day on Twitter. That said, also check out theScoreEsports.com. Download the phone app there to keep in touch with all the scores. You can look back on the day. They've got write-ups and all the lot for this weekend. We go to the stadium on Friday, but tomorrow we go to Group B, where we get into the inconsistent group. And I think that the overtime format's a possibility in that one as well. It's been a long day. Like Olaf said, we've all been here for quite some time. We'll end it there. We'll see you tomorrow. It's going to be a brilliant time from Intel Extreme Masters World Championships here in Katowice, Poland.